We are back, excuse me, with another lunchtime vlog. So I am at work today, as you know, and I'm in the car. And today I just I want to talk to y'all, and I want to ask y'all some questions. So I got a request to do some more cooking videos, which I don't mind doing cooking videos at all. I really love to cook. My problem lately has been I have nobody to eat the food. So um I I just want to talk through the request because, and Chris, I know you're listening, so if you can put some additional information in the comments below related to the questions that I'm going to be asking, because I want to figure out um what to cook, right? So because I do, man, if you can help me figure out how to bring the cooking back, I mean, I will be ever so grateful, because the issue is not cooking, it's just cooking, and then what do I do with the food that does not get eaten? You know, I have a problem with portion control. That is a huge thing for me. I don't know why I got to a point of cooking all of this food whenever I cook, and I have trouble scaling it down. So yeah, that's another thing that I'm struggling with, is trying to get the portions and stuff together, so then I don't have so much stuff left over. But anyway, I'm gonna be looking for you to help me out with that. So anyway, the first thing that I thought about was, this is 2024. We're in the last 3 months of 2024, and a lot of people are going to be uh, very focused on changing their diet, because that's what people do towards the end of the year, going into the new year. They make all these resolutions and stuff like that, about changing their eating habits and exercising and all that kind of stuff. So I don't patronize that kind of behavior, because my thing is, if you're gonna do it, just do it. Why wait till New Year's, right? But that's just my opinion. No, shade towards anybody who does that. But I want to use that to talk through a question about how your nutrition has changed, not just this year, but I want you to think back. Think back to, I was going to say 5 years, but just keep it even. 4 years. 4 years ago, 2020. Um, what were you eating? What were you like? Were you doing a lot of eating out? Were you cooking at home? If you were cooking at home, were you cooking a lot of um, heavy foods? Were you a person that pretty much, as long as you cooked at home, there were really good food choices? Um, Were you plant-based? Were you eating meat? Were you trying out vegetarianism? Were you trying out, like, what were you in 2020? What were you eating? And how were you eating? And if you were eating out, like, what places were you going to? Were you going to Salada? Were you going to Ma Pizza? Were you going to um I can't think, it's a place in my husband, Mickey's Soul Food. Now Mickey's got some good food, but that food, so y'all know soul food is heavy. It is really, really heavy, and it will hit you like a ton of bricks when you finish eating, from all the salt and the butter and grease and different things like that. So food is good, but it's just not good for you. So, but yeah, so were you eating that kind of stuff, or were you going to, like, for me, I've never been a person that gravitated towards any one particular kind of place. My palate has always been very diverse. So again, I talked the other day about eating at Diamasi's, which is a Mediterranean restaurant. But I love me some Indian food, and I would get me some a dosa, which is a crepe that's filled with potatoes and vegetables and stuff, and I would get samosas. I also have, in the last, I think, year and a half, I think this is almost 2 years, I've discovered egusi soup and fufu. So I'm starting to try, like, Nigerian dishes and stuff like that. Some of them I can't really. I tried goat, and I didn't like it. It was very gamey. It had a really weird smell. I just wasn't feeling it. And I don't know why it smelled like that. I'm thinking maybe if somebody tells me that goat is not supposed to smell like that, that bothers me. Because it was to the point where my I got it and then I didn't want it. And when my husband went to reheat it the next day, we had to throw it in the trash can because it smelled awful. And my whole house was like, my downstairs where my kitchen is was just stinky, just really, really stinky. And it took us a few days to get the smell out of there. So I was like, oh, we won't be doing goat. So I don't know what's up with that. But if anybody is watching this video that has prepared goat, know how to prepare goat, has eaten goat, know what goat is supposed to taste and smell like, please let me know if that's just the way it tastes or if maybe we got some bad goat. I don't know. But anyway, so I want to know, and the reason I want to know is because I'm just curious to know if from 2020 to now, if your food choices have changes and your nutritional habits have changed, what caused them to change? Was it something that was health related? Was it the pandemic? Was it maybe you joined a group or something and y'all are just trying to, do the right thing as far as your diet is concerned? Did somebody introduce you to something that made you start thinking more, um, differently about your food choices? So I'm curious to know like what actually caused, like if your food choices and your nutritional habits have changed from 2020 to now. I would like to know what caused them to change. And one of the reasons I'm asking this question is because I know for a fact that my eating habits have always been like this, but for the most part I have always tried to err on the side of like I guess the lesser of the two evils. If, say for example, we were eating out and it was none of what I was choosing was good for me, but I tried to go with the better option. And so a lot of times, like if we ate out, and we don't eat out a lot, but a lot of times if we ate out, I would always be good with finding something on the menu that was baked or broiled, grilled or something like that, with my protein. I didn't mind doing like a salad, taco salad or something like that if we went to a Mexican restaurant. Now, my weakness, and I'm just going to keep it real, when it comes to Mexican food, I love me some tacos, and they have to be hard shell tacos. Soft tacos just do this. It's a texture thing for me. I just can't do it. But if I don't go with tacos, they got these chimichangas at, it's a place called Ruchi's, and it's also a place called I don't know if they sell them at Arandas anymore, but I know Ruchi's, and I can't think of the other place that we eat. There's two different authentic Mexican restaurants we eat at, and they do the chimichangas. Now, anybody who know what a chimichanga is, I'm going way left, because a chimichanga is deep fried. So, and then they just cover it with all this melty cheese. It is so good, y'all. The only thing is I always have to tell them that don't put no lettuce and tomatoes and stuff like that in there, because my thing is lettuce and tomatoes ain't supposed to be hot. So I don't know how people are eating burritos and stuff like it's inside the what you're eating, but it's in there and everything in there is hot. So the lettuce and the tomatoes is soft, and again, it's a texture thing. So I'm sorry. This really is relevant. It's relevant. So, because how I feel about food, the way that it tastes to me, the texture of it, the color of it, the look of it, all of that drives how I make decisions about what I eat. And not everybody is like that. Because, like my husband, I'm going to tell you now, this is a man who was in the military, who went overseas, and some of the stuff he done told me he done ate, I be looking at him like, you nasty. Because why in the world would you eat that? But some people are like that. Just like these people go on these I can't think of the name of the game show where they got you eating all these things and letting bugs crawl all over you and stuff. And I'm like, these people, there's something wrong with folks. There's something wrong with folks, because I ain't doing that. But I'm asking because I wanted to know, I guess I want to challenge myself and see if there is something that you all could recommend that's not in my repertoire. Okay. Now, I grew up cooking soul food. I learned how to cook, even cook soul food plant-based. Okay. I don't really do all of that anymore because I used to cook a lot like during the holidays and different things like that. I have like experimented with different foods from different ethnicities, and I love Mexican food, I love Chinese food, I love Thai food, I love Nigerian food, or I'm learning about Nigerian food. I love Indian food. Um, I was I've up until not too long ago, I only had lumpia. So recently I got a lumpia and pancit. That's Filipino food. So my mind is open because see a lot of that, even though I know they probably will be upset with me for saying this, but usually like if I'm eating Filipino food, it puts me in the mindset of Thai food and Chinese food. Any type of, yeah, so it puts me in that mindset. So to me, it's not like I'm eating all the same foods because they prepare their food and they season their food a little differently. But I guess that's why I like the different Thai, Chinese, uh, Korean, and Filipino because they all kind of the flavor is very similar for me, and the look of the dishes are very similar for me. So I want to know if you have recommendations for something that I could cook that you think I may not have cooked. So when I say that, I'm talking about don't say fried chicken, don't say, ribs, don't say pork chops, don't, actually give me a dish that I would have to research and I would have to learn about the ingredients. And keep in mind, this is also what I want to mention to you. I have a place to shop where they sell like spices and stuff that they use in Africa. So the Nigerian food and different things like that. There's a place that is in my area where I can buy those. I know of a place where I can buy spices that are in seasonings and ingredients for Asian dishes. Um, there are so I have access to, like, if you give me a dish that's from another country or from you know that's outside the United States and they use certain spices and different things like that, I have a way to get my hands on things. I would just have to uh, make sure I had to have to contact the store to make sure that they carried it. And if they did not, have to find it. But there's a couple of places that I go that they haven't let me down yet. I was looking for something very, very specific. And when I went to the particular store for the type of dish that I was fixing, they had it. So I'm confident that if you give me a suggestion for a dish that I need to, for me to cook. So this is kind of a challenge for me. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this because yes, I want to go back to cooking. Excuse me, y'all. But the other reason I'm doing this is because I'm a kind of person, I have to keep it spicy. I get bored really easy eating the same things and all that sort of stuff. And I'm really working with my wellness coach on we we're gonna be starting up probably in a couple of weeks. But what I want to do is when I go to meal prepping and stuff and letting her know like what it is that I'm cooking and what I'm eating and different things like that so she can kind of pay attention to how my body is responding to it. I really would like to have something other than what I already know how to cook. Okay, Tony, well, if you want something different to cook, just find something different to cook. For me, it's not that easy. So I like to keep things interesting. So I'm asking you all, especially considering the fact that we all have not grown up the same way. There are some people that watch my channel that are not from the United States. There are people that watch my channel that's not my age range. There are people that's on my channel that's not my race. They're not have the same culture that I do. And so I'm looking for something other than what I'm familiar with. So I'm asking for some recommendations to try to help me create, like, I want to be charged with doing the research, figuring out how to fix it authentically. Yeah, I can play around with it and create my own version of it, but I really would love to learn how to create the dish authentically. And again, depending on what you recommend, I may know somebody who is from, like, that's a part of their culture, who can also help. Like, they can show me, if I need to get them to, actually, I go get the stuff and then they help me learn how to cook it. That'll be awesome, because it'd be like a cooking lesson. You know what I'm saying? So what do y'all think about that? If y'all come on and participate with me. See, y'all don't be leaving comments and stuff. I'm on here practically begging for y'all to leave comments, and I ain't getting y'all to leave comments. I don't know what the issue is. I see you watching the videos, but ain't nobody really saying nothing. I got like a handful of people, the same people, that say something. So yeah, if you want to see me try my hand, and the thing of it is, I have some new equipment and stuff too, so that's the other thing. And then my daughter was telling me that she would like, we need to try to figure out how her schedule, so she can help film, because sometimes when I'm filming, I got my camera and stuff set up on a tripod, and sometimes it's capturing shadows, and it's not really a good angle, but I'm doing the best I can because it's just me. And then it's in my kitchen, so I'm trying to cook, so I don't want the camera in the position where it's all in the way and stuff like that. So I'm trying to figure it out. So yes, number one, okay, let's recap. Number one, how has your eating habits changed since 2020? That's number one. Okay, how has your eating habits changed since 2020? Why did they change? Whether they've gotten worse or they gotten better. What was the reason that you can recall that you are eating differently now? Okay, so that's number two. Number three is going to be, what mindset are you in right now with regard to your nutrition? Like, are you, regardless of where you were in 2020, and say it's better now, are you trying to get even better? Or if it's not so good right now, are you trying to get better? Like, what is your mindset about around your nutrition right now? What is it that you are trying to accomplish? I don't need to know if it's a New Year's resolution or anything like that, because that's not relevant. It's just, what change are you trying to make, and like, what is the thought process around that? So that's three. What was your nutrition like in 2020? Why did it change? And what is your current mindset around your nutrition right now? So those are three questions. Then the follow-up question for it'll be number four. What dish can you recommend for me to learn how to cook? And I don't want to Americanize it. I want to cook it traditionally, the way it's supposed to be cooked. Now, I will say this. If it is something, because I know, like, in Asian cuisine, they use a lot of fish heads and stuff like that. If it's something like that, I won't eat it. And I'm just being honest with you, because I only eat fish if it don't taste fishy. And there's only been a few times that I've actually found a fish and people say, "Oh, it's not fishy, it's not fishy." And my husband got some red snapper, and me and my daughter eat whole red snapper when we go to Cozumel at the resort. And I cannot taste, it doesn't taste fishy at all. It's nice and meaty, and it is so good. It's a whole red snapper, and they fried it, and it's good. It's very clean. My husband got two snapper steaks. Them things were about this thick, okay, and about this long. He fixed those, and the first two bites, I was fine. The closer I got to the other side, I was like, I not only tasted it, but I smelt it. And then he said the same thing. Yeah, it doesn't bother him if some, because he'll eat catfish and everything. Like, I don't eat stuff like that. Now, mind you, I get down on some crab, scallops, lobster, shrimp. I'll even eat crawfish if they already peeled, the crawfish tails. Uh, yeah, I'll eat stuff like that. It's just fish. It's something about eating or smelling fish, and it has that fishy taste and smell to it. I can't do it. I can't stomach it, you know. And so, no. So if it's any of those kinds of dishes, I don't want y'all putting stuff out here as a challenge to see if I'll eat something gross or not. That's not what this is. What this is, sincerely, is just trying to find food that I can prepare in a way that's different than the way I'm used to eating those ingredients, that's outside my arsenal. It's something other than what I'm accustomed to eating. And I'm doing it with in an effort to increase my recipes so that I have a variation of things to choose from when I want to cook. So I'm asking you this not as a challenge, because I'm not gonna do gross. I'm just gonna let y'all know we ain't doing gross. I don't do challenges where people eat things that's nasty and I don't do that. Because my thing is, anything I put in my mouth, I ain't got really too much space to put the food in the first place, because my stomach is small. So I'm not gonna waste my time eating things that it has to have nutritional value. It can't be for competition. I don't do that. Because my body, I done been through too much, and that's not smart to me. So I want to know what y'all think. What do you think? Come on, y'all. And you're not limited to one recipe. You're not limited to one dish. Now, I don't expect you to give me the recipe. I don't. I can do the research and stuff. You want to give me the recipe, that's fine. But if you just want to say the dish and tell me like where it's from, then I can do the research to find out the ingredients. I can find me some videos and figure out how to cook it, and then I'll film myself making it. Right? Wouldn't y'all like to see that? So y'all go ahead and help me out. So number one, again, what was your nutrition like in 2020? Number two, why did it change? Number three, what is your current mindset around your nutrition right now? And number four, what recipe or dish can you recommend for me to try to cook? All right. All right, y'all. That's going to do it for me. Thank y'all for joining me for my lunchtime vlog. I really, really appreciate it. And I am going to say, if you have been rocking with me, part of the fam bam, I sure do appreciate it. Y'all know I appreciate all the love and support. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button. But everybody, please make sure you give me a thumbs up and make sure you share me out and leave me a comment below today, giving me an idea of something to cook that is outside what you know I normally would cook or eat. Any help would do. And I love y'all. Have an awesome day, and we will see you in the next video. If you're not already a member of the Fetch fam, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and download that app, scan my QR code, and get to scanning those receipts. You might as well take advantage of it. You're already spending the money. The receipts translates into points, the points translates into cash, and you can redeem that cash via store card or cash card, or you can donate to charity. Well, all right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, but we don't do so without saying, love yourself, love somebody else, and until next time, y'all take care. Bye.